Hi, I'm Cocteau, and I got more vinyls. 6 to be exact. And I'm gonna show them off real quick. Starting with The Milk-Eyed Mender by Joanna Newsom. Where do I start? I fucking love her as a person. All of her albums are so good. I struggled a lot to choose which one to get first on vinyl, but this was the first album that I'd listened to by her, so I have like a sentimental attachment to it. Her stuff is very folky, acoustic, intimate, eclectic. Her voice is so distinct, and the sound itself is also very unique. She's a harpist, and that comes through in all of her songs. She is the cottagecore blueprint, to put it simply. This album is so off-kilter and eclectic. This feels like the audio equivalent of a children's storybook. It's so complex despite that. The lyrics themselves are dense and rich and so poetic. And then the harp playing is so intricate and layered and complex and beautiful. This album is so good. This is what it sounds like.
Its bearings on Cape Paravel. Oh my love, oh it was a funny little thing to be the ones to have seen.
If you're interested, her music is not on Spotify, unfortunately, but you can find all of her stuff on YouTube. All of her albums are so different. She goes on to do a lot of orchestral stuff and longer form albums in general, like 2-hour epics. This is definitely one aspect of her style, but there's a lot more that she does. Wish I could show it all. It's so cool. Next we have Bluebell Knoll by Cocteau Twins. This album is a recent favorite of mine, so super happy to pick it up. I've liked Cocteau Twins for a while, but never really listened to this album, and once I did, I was blown away. It's airtight, front to back. There's only 10 songs, and there's not a single skip, which for vinyl is very important. Cocteau Twins as a band are equal parts ethereal and industrial, where they have these shimmery, dream poppy sounds, and they're also blown out and distorted and grainy and shoegazy. Really cool intersection, and I love them as a band. This album in particular is less ambient, less spacey than some of their other stuff, but I really like it all the same. This is what it sounds like. Super cool. Next, dun dun dun, Aphex Twin. It had to happen, I'm so sorry. This is Selected Ambient Works Volume 1. It's just a staple, it's so good. This is like IDM, intelligent dance music, just very intricate electronic stuff. Obviously ambient as the title would suggest, but it's deceptively simple. There's a Brian Eno quote about making ambient music and how you have to strike a balance between being ignorable and interesting, and it rings true here as well. There's so much happening, but it's also so listenable and ignorable, air quotes, that it can be background music, but if you really pay attention, there's so much going on, which so much love for ambient music in general. This album is no exception. It's so cool. A lot of these songs are on the longer side, like 6 to 9 minutes, and it's just really cool to follow it because of how incremental electronic music is, where one extra layer of instrumentation just keeps getting added constantly until you're somewhere completely different, but it was so gradual that you didn't really notice. It's just really cool. This is what this album sounds like. Next up is When I Get Home by Solange. Have to follow up Aphex Twin with this to try and cancel out the toxic nerdy male energy. This album is hard to categorize because of how fleeting each song is. There's so many different places that this goes sonically, and in really short bursts. There's a lot of intermissions and interludes, ideas that pop up and then drift off and blend into another song. But I do see how some people view the lack of structure as a red flag, because to make it analogous, this is kind of like a short story collection instead of a novel. It's definitely less focused, but I really like it. There's some really cool collaborators on this, like Tyler the Creator, Playboi Carti, Gucci Mane, Pharrell, and then obviously just Solange at the forefront of it all. It feels very much like an homage to Houston, and just love this. This is what a song sounds like.
Candy paint, with the swingers on. Got the swingers.
Ooh, that's my baby. Ooh, that's my boy. Ooh, that's my baby. Ooh,
The next album I'll talk about is Beat by Bowery Electric. This is industrial, droning, sunburnt, wailing guitar, shoegazy, trip hop. That's a lot of adjectives, but it is super cool and very minimal and skeletal and understated. This is another album that I recently discovered, but I have fallen in love with all of their music. It's hypnotic and so moody and grungy and cool. Trip hop in general is something I've been getting more and more into, but I typically stick to like the lyrical side of it, where there's like ladies singing on top of it, like Portishead or some Everything But the Girl songs. But I was missing out on the grainy, dingy side of it. I've been really enjoying this album lately. This album recently got repressed and is the reason why I bought all of the other ones, because I was like, well, while I'm getting vinyl, let me just shop around a little bit. This is what it sounds like. And this last one is one that I have not been shipped yet, but I bought it with the others, so I'm going to talk about it anyways, and that's Karen Dalton's In My Own Time. She's one of the artists that falls into the Venn diagram of acoustic women with distinct voices that I love. People like Joanna Newsom, Adrienne Lenker, Karen Dalton, Jessica Pratt. You could even go further, like Kate Bush, Fiona Apple, or Joni Mitchell, etc. Anyways, love her voice so much. And despite comparing her to those other artists, she is so unique. Her voice can be either hoarse and quavering or lilting and so soft and intimate. She does folky or kind of country acoustic ballads, but there's some Baroque elements, like it's all over the place. Okay, but this album specifically is so good. It's the 50th anniversary edition is what I got. So there's like a classic 70s sound to it all. So many songs on here are so good. They literally bring me to tears, and I'm not exaggerating. This album has made me cry at least 5 times. I'm not going to try and describe it. I would just do it a disservice. This is what some of it sounds like.
Once I walked through the halls of a station. Someone called your name. In the street I heard children laughing. They all sound the same. Wonder, could you ever know me?
So these are the vinyl I got. Just wanted to show them off. I think they're pretty cool. If we have similar music tastes, my Spotify is linked below. I have a ton of playlists full of stuff like this. If you listen to any of these albums, legally you are obligated to tell me what you think. I actually would like to know. Anyways, thanks for watching and goodbye.